everyone. So I will be talking about modeling and simulation in electron cyclotron resonance plasma systems. So since morning we are learning about high temperature plasma things, laser plasma, fusion plasma, astroplasmas, but I will be dealing with low temperature plasmas which we generate in laboratory. So these are produced by electron impact ionization, where we provide the energy using simple DC frequency, low frequency, some radio frequency and microwaves. So they in general are called wave heated plasmas if we are in RF and microwave plasma regions. So in microwave regime, 2.45 gigahertz microwave is the very popular frequency which we employ. And so what makes then these microwave sources at 2.45 very popular is that they produce very high density plasmas, and we can work at extremely low pressures, which makes them suitable for processing. And there are other benefits also for example, developing in ion sources, then we require that there should be no collision in the path of ions. So extremely low working pressure helps us in getting a good quality beams, and also doing any processing, material processing at very low pressures makes the device very clean and keep the process reproducible. So they are very helpful. So what are the key application of these plasmas are like ECR plasma thrusters. We have seen multiple posters here talking about ECR plasma systems, and we have very popular ECR ion sources, very developed technology. Nowadays, ECR plasma sources are also being utilized for large area processing, and these ion sources are also used for ion milling purposes and deposition purposes. So what are the design components which are required to develop an ECR plasma source? So definitely we do need a discharge chamber to contain this plasma, then a gas injection system, and an antenna or waveguide system to transport these microwaves to the ionization region, then the magnetic field, which serves two purposes here. One, it provides the resonance zone field, and second, it can make your plasma confined, or if you want to guide it, so this magnetic field can help you. Then the extraction system to put in front of the plasma system to develop this ECR plasma in an ion beam systems. So how this 2.45 gigahertz ECR plasma is produced? So here I've shown a schematic. So this dark shape here, so this is the ECR zone basically. So in this particular configuration, we have these solenoids which provide a specially varying magnetic field along the axis. At this particularly 2.45 gigahertz, at a location of 875 Gauss, what happens that when these gyrating electrons in the presence of the field, their gyration frequency match with the 2.45 gigahertz, and at this particular location, the microwave energy is transferred to the electrons, and then these electrons impact on the neutrals and create the plasma. This process is called the electron cyclotron resonance plasma. Then this plasma can flow into a bigger expansion chamber where you can utilize it for your processes. So in this talk today, I'll explore two case studies. One is the ECR plasma thruster, where I have done experimental characterization as well as some simple global model approach to validate those experiments. And the second case study will be ECR ion source, where this ECR ion source will be utilized for the coating applications. So the simple principle is shown here. A large energy ion beam in the range of kilo electron volt, ion beam will be hit to a target, and then this target material will be sputtered and deposited on a substrate. So these high energy beams are required for depositing some good quality dielectric films. So ECR plasma sources need to be developed for such kind of applications. So I will utilize a simple 2D axisymmetric COMSOL simulation to see the dynamics of these ECR ion sources. So I'll start with the thruster system. So this is the source I had here at IIT Delhi. So we have a small plasma chamber equipped with these ring magnets, and this is the magnetron to transfer the microwave power to the source. The diagram shows the source connected to a big expansion chamber. So plasma is created in a very small region, and then it expands in a big volume. That is how the expansion takes place, and it is assumed to be work as a thruster. So we have a good experimental characterization facility equipped with Langmuir probe and ion energy analyzers, with which we could map the plasma parameters like density, temperature, ion energies, but we don't have a direct thrust measurement system. So to support the Langmuir probe ion energy measurement and to estimate the thrust levels, I utilize this global model there. So jumping into the modeling results, I would like to show some of the experimental values. So this is the schematic and the magnetic field profile. So this Langmuir probe was utilized to map the plasma actually, as well as there were radial probes also, and the ion energy analyzer was fixed at in front of the source to map the ion energies. So this is a detailed magnetic field profile. So this red thick line is where the ECR is happening, and then this plasma is expanding into the bigger expansion chamber. So these are the Langmuir probe measurements result. Actually, so we can see before 0, this is the source region. Afterward, this is all the into the expansion chamber. So we can see we are developing good high density within the source, and then it is falling away as we move away from the source. And this density comes up with a good plasma potential profile. Here we can see that this high plasma potential is jumping to some normal values, some moderate values within few millimeters. So we can expect some ion acceleration from source side to the expansion chamber side. These electron density profile have been compared with the magnetic field profile. These are plotted the normalized values. So we can see that the density profiles are not following the magnetic field. So something different was happening there. But for the sake of thruster configuration, we didn't go deep into those physics, but directly measure the ion energies, and we can see that in front of the magnetic source, at just 2 centimeters away from the source exit, we could have high energy ion beams. Around 90 eV ion beams were being generated. When we translated these potential differences measured from Langmuir probe into a thrust calculation, we can see like 56 millinewton of thrust can be generated. And similar number were obtained from ion energy calculations. So these are good numbers in terms of plasma thruster performances. So next was the modeling approach to predict the thruster numbers, and sidewise if we can validate the Langmuir probe and ion energy measurements. So the global model is very simple, as it ignores any spatial variations. Though the system contains magnetic field, but we ignored it because magnetic field includes anisotropy, but we are using the global model, so we ignore the magnetic field role there. So what we does that we took particle balance equations to estimate the density and power balance equations to estimate the temperatures. So here is the schematic. We divided this geometry into 2 zones. Zone 1 is the source region, zone 2 is the expansion region. So in the zone 1, plasma is spatially uniform. Into the zone 2, plasma is spatially uniform. It means the parameters here are uniform, parameters here are uniforms, but they are different from here to here. So we solve the model once here and once here and took the gap to find out the potential difference here and then to predict the ion energies. In the next step, what we do, just to mimic the space-like conditions where thruster will being utilized, there will be no walls. So we receded these walls away from and till the position that the walls have no effect on the source performance. Then we write those equations for the zone 1 and zone 2 and we compare the parameters. So we see the particle balance in the zone 1. So the ionization is the net creation mechanism. So this equation is I have written for ion. So ionization means ion creation and it is balanced by the wall losses and losses through the opening. Next is the energy balance. Energy channel is the power which we are putting into the zone 1 and this power is being utilized in the process of collisional energy losses, wall losses, energy losses due to the ions through the opening and energy losses due to the electrons through the opening, and simultaneously this positive term is the energy coming into the zone 1 through the electrons which can travel from zone 2 to zone 1 because of this potential difference. They can freely come from zone 2 to zone 1. So these are the few definitions. Delta phi is treated as the potential difference between zone 1 and zone 2. So similar equations were written for the zone 2, but this time there was no power because all the power were utilized in the zone 1. And then the third equation is the quasi-neutrality equation. So it tells us that the charge balance outgoing electrons from zone 1, incoming electrons from zone 2 should be balanced by the ion flux going from zone 1 to zone 2. So then we can estimate the thrust. So we compare here the parameters in the zone 1 and zone 2 at different pressures. So in the zone 1, we compare those results with the Langmuir probe measurements and we can see a quite good agreement. But in the zone 2, no comparison was made because we can see there's in our Langmuir probe measurement, there were axial decay into the measurements, so no local measurement was available. And here we have this assumption that the parameters are same. So extending these calculations from zone 1, we see that we can have a thrust values of around 40 millinewtons, so which is not much far from what we have from the LP calculations and ion energy calculations. Next we move to the part 2 where we receded the walls. Because now we are receding the walls, so now the neutral gas density is not constant in the zone 2. So we took the neutral density conservation equations and also the gas is being cooled. So we took the enthalpy conservation equations to calculate the temperature and the density of the neutrals, and then rest of the calculations were made. So we see that now the density, temperature and potentials have been fallen as compared to the previous case, which creates a lots of potential difference between the zone 1 and zone 2 and which improves the thrust values. So the thrust is now little bit improved and which is better. Now we extended this model for xenon gas because xenon is the real gas, a real fuel which is used. So then we see that while using the xenon, we can have better thrust around 80 millinewtons. So these were good estimations and they were also validating our Langmuir probe and ion energy measurements. So this was for the thruster thing. Now the second part is the ECR plasma ion source for coating applications. So this work I have recently started on TIFR Hyderabad, and the work is in very native state. So it's continuously going on. I will show some primary results here. So this source is actually a very small source attached here to a small plasma chamber. This is ECR ion source. This system again equipped with Langmuir probe and the Faraday cup. Here I have shown a screenshot of the plasma system. This is the ECR ion source cross section. So this is a antenna fed source, and this region from antenna to the focus cup just 45 mm. So this is a very small miniature kind of source which is able to provide good ion energies. This source is currently being utilized in the ion milling process. Ion milling is kind of an etching process. So here I have put this photograph of a silicon wafer which has earlier deposition of niobium and being utilizing this ECR ion source. But we want to utilize now this source for coating applications. And before going into the coating application, we want to understand the plasma dynamics inside it and when it is coupled to the larger expansion chamber. So this is the source system shown here. Inside it, it has a plasma cavity. From backside, an antenna is feeding the power, and encirculated it with 8 cylindrical magnets which are used to provide the ECR field. So utilizing this COMSOL multiphysics simulation, we can generate magnetic field profile and also the plasma dynamics. So this is the 3D simulation of these magnets, and this is the cross section shown here. So the ECR zone is like a cup in front of the magnets. So here the plasma is created, and when this source is connected to the expansion chamber, it fills up there. On axis, we have this kind of magnetic field profile. So from one side, we shoot the microwave and utilize just one ECR location for plasma formation. So here I am showing the 2D axisymmetric system, the magnet, the plasma. So we see that this dark black line is the ECR zone, which is just in front of this antenna. Antenna is approaching up to here, from here to here. And then these magnetic field lines form a separatrix here, and then they are diverging away. So this source, this region is the plasma formation region, we call it ionization region, and this is the extraction region. And then here it is connected to any process chamber for milling purpose or for deposition purpose. So to starting with, I took the argon pressure at 1 millibar and microwave power of 5 watt. So we can see that ionization happens here because the field are maximum here and good amount of density, temperature and potentials were available and filling up into the process zone and into the extraction region. So these are the electron mobility profiles which confirms the electron motion, and the separatrix here plays the role that the radial mobility is maximum along in front of the separatrix, and then we have the Z mobility part. So I did a power variation at 0.1 millibar. So this is the axial profile of density, and we can see that increasing the power from 5 watt to 20 watt, density indeed increases. But there is no gain in the density reaching into this extraction region. Only around 10% of the plasma is following there. Only around 10% plasma is reaching into the extraction region. It means all of the plasma is hitting into the ionization zone. So then I see if there is some problem into the power coupling, and we can see that the absorbed power is nearly equal to the feed power. So the coupling was good. Then the next case is to go down into the pressure to move the plasma out of the ionization region. Then going down into the pressure creates the problem in power coupling, and I saw that when I was at 0.01 millibar, means I reduced the pressure 10 times, I has to increase the power 10 times, 50 watt, to achieve good coupling. Then I for the sake of comparison, I've done again the pressure variation from 0.01 to 1 millibar at 50 watt. And I saw that increasing the pressure also have some effect on power coupling. So there are some trade with between the power and the pressures, and we have to optimize this also. So next here I have shown the profiles at different pressure, and power was 50 watts. So we see that reducing the pressure indeed makes the plasma flow from this ionization region into the extraction region, and the best was achieved at 0.01 millibar. So here I am comparing the normalized density plot with the magnetic field plot. So we can see that at lowest pressure, the density is actually higher in the extraction region. But nevertheless, at any pressure, density profiles are not following the magnetic field. So they are behaving independently. Same for the earlier case when I had the power measurement. So the plasma is not following the magnetic field for sure, but we need to do more parametric optimization of power and pressure to get some concluding dynamic behavior there. So with that, I conclude. So I have shown here 2 case studies where we can utilize the numerical and simulation approach for ECR plasma simulations. So in the next part of this ECR ion source, I need to optimize the system at much lower pressures, because the ion sources works better at low pressures in the range of 1E minus 4. And the next step will be to set up the extraction voltages to check the ion beam behaviors. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Anshu. So right in time. So I have lots of time for questions. Please raise your hands. Any questions? So Anshu, that I noticed that in slide number 12, so you have the measure of the plasma potential from the source, and it's kind of hundreds of EV.
Yes, sir.
So can you comment why the potential is so high at that region?
Oh, you mean the case of thrusters?
Yes.
Yeah, so yes, I can show you. So actually what is happening there, the role of magnets are very important. So we have the magnets, so you see that the outer magnet is having more strength than these 2 magnets. So the magnetic field profile is that the field is decreasing this way. And then we can look into if we see here, so this is the ECR zone in this forward gradient. So the plasma is formed here, but because of this null and this small hump, the plasma is relatively confined here. So what happens because of this confinement, electrons can travel this ECR zone multiple times, and then because of that they can acquire some high energies. And because plasma potentials are directly related to the electron temperature, so we can expect some high heating and high plasma potential developing inside the source.
So you're expecting electron temperatures to be 100 eV at that?
Sorry?
Your electron temperature is of the order of 100 eV?
No, I didn't understand.
So plasma potential relates to the?
Electron temperature.
Correct.
Yeah.
So do you expect that 100 eV temperature locally?
Yes,
Okay.
because we have seen that because of these, for example, these electron is sitting on this line, this will go up, touch here, and come back and touch here. So multiple times resonance heating can take place there.
Okay. And next you used a power balance model in slide number 17.
Sorry, sir.
Slide number 17.
Slide number 17.
Okay. Okay. So Ganesh has a question before that. Okay.
Hi.
Yeah.
It is okay. Just a couple of clarifications. So you launched the ECR in directly into the system.
Yes.
There is no magnetic field is in the direction of the K and dot B is 0 sort of, the background magnetic field which is expanding into the chamber.
Yes.
And the wave vector that goes in, there is no angle between them.
No. Microwaves are launched along the magnetic field.
Okay. And is that expected to produce ionization? I'm not sure. I forgot that part. of
Yes,
the-
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Other thing is when you're saying the plasma is expanding, you basically have some kind of a
Double layer kind of thing.
formation, and the double layer formation is accelerating the ions. Is it?
Yes.
Yes,
And you're saying that can be 50 millinewtons. That's
Yeah.
what you're estimating.
so this 50 millinewton is coming up because plasma as a quasi-neutral thing is coming out. So all of the kinetic energy contained in that plasma volume is being transferred into the thrust.
And what is the source density? At the density of the source?
It was like 5 10 to the power 12 per centimeter cube. So
12 matlab 18.
18, yeah, high density plasma.
Is 18 high?
Yeah, for the lab plasma, it's kind of like a good thing. I think in Helicon plasma, we get up to 10 per 19 though, but it's kind of like a, open fields. So you might have some electrons flowing directly out.
In EO mode launching with the magnetic field, we get 10 power 17
17 meter
per
cube?
meter cube, all in SI. So
The measurements with the probes actually are tricky at those locations. We exactly don't know what kind of thing.
No,
But-
we are measuring just in front of the ECR zone.
Yeah, so that the reliability of measurements using electric probes, so that might be like, maybe if some percentage error.
Actually,
So
our source is very narrow, so we can't put multiple probes there. We just took one probe in measurement and then take it out.
yeah. It's
So, but we have done this exercise multiple times. So,
yeah, I'm
language
sure.
probe
I'm
measure-
sure.
yeah.
I'm just curious. It's actual measurement, right?
Actual measurements, yeah. So actually going very close to the ECR zone, what happens? We are hampering with the ECR location.
Correct.
yeah, there will be interactions, interference of the probe with the source
Yeah,
itself.
probe acts like an antenna and microwave coming from here. So measurements, hampers there.
The dip that you have, is it accidental?
No. It is not accidental. We have
Can you go back to that slide when you are
yeah.
explaining that?
actually when I left from there, there is another girl which are taking forward this work, and she has also observed similar kind of things with the krypton. Yeah.
Did you plan the dip is the question. The magnetic field, if you go to the magnetic field plot,
Can you go back? Can you go
just
back?
in the exit you have a dip, right? Correct. -1 or -2 centimeters. You have a dip.
This is the feature of ring magnets. You can't avoid it.
So it's accidental, that's what I'm saying.
This, you can say it accidental, but it is useful here because
That's
it,
okay.
yes.
That is unquestionable.
Yeah, this is,
That is what is giving multiple resonances for ECR,
Yes.
which never happens in a regular system.
yes.
Okay, very good.
Actually, I tried another configuration where we utilized some stronger magnets, and then this peak was comparable to this ECR zone. But then what was happening that the extraction of the plasma was difficult. It remains there. So
Very interesting.
because they are like permanent magnets, so we don't have much flexibility in designing them, but whatever we have was working fine.
So did you measure this plasma potential using MEC probe?
So
Which kind of probe you have used for measuring the plasma potential?
plasma density Langmuir probe.
Langmuir probes
Yes.
with IV full IV
Yes.
characteristics.
I have not shown there
No,
because
there could be difficulty when you are using probes in that strong magnetic fields. So better use is the floating MEC probe. Okay, so that could be because cold probe. Have you measured cold probe?
yes.
And what is that floating potential difference between VP and VF?
No. We don't have used that probe. We just
Okay.
use the
Okay,
simple
anyway.
Langmuir probe.
Okay, so that is fine. So I think lots of questions already. So we should thank the speaker now.